Welcome to a brand new show for the Going for Two Network. It's your boy, the B League says here, otherwise known as Dan, or that guy that's hiding behind the bushes. We don't want to be that guy anymore, so we're just going to stick with Dan or hashtag Discord Dan. For those who get that joke, welcome to Going for Two Lives, the B League Pick'ems. I'm your guy, the B League says. Thank you for joining me for a brand new show. It's based on Underdog, our sponsor. How about that? We have a show based on our sponsor because, it's our sponsor. A sponsor that pays us, So we should probably talk about our sponsor because, they're our sponsor. If you haven't already, sign up to Underdog. That's what we're here for, right? Promo code Going for Two or GF2. That's our promo code with Underdog. You get yourself locked in. 100% matching deposit up to $100. Pretty easy. If you want more content, we want more, right? We always want more. Very easy. Get over to Discord. Look for Going for Two. Very easy. If you want more of this show, I'm talking. I'm just going to try to rack up to 30 minutes. That's what we're going to panic to 30 minutes. Head over to YouTube. Hit the subscribe. Hit the alert button somewhere. I'm not on YouTube. I'm on Restream. It doesn't really matter. Who cares? That's what we're at. Find out when this show kicks off and we'll go. Make sure you guys stick around for after the show. We have an incredible DFF show with Tim and Gerson and Jeff every Friday night that kicks off late at night. Phenomenal. You really want to take advantage of that. Those guys grind out numbers all year round. They are incredible. That's what we're here to do. We're here to do this. Very easy. What this show is about, I've kind of half alluded to it before. Underdog, one of the biggest growing platforms when it comes to, obviously, best ball. Everyone's in on best ball, aren't they? Everyone loves some best ball, so we're all in on that. And obviously, they have other options there. So something like the props. Can't really call them props. Can't call it over and under. Thank you for the vernacular from Underdog. Can't call it over and under. It's now higher and lower. Can't say the line is set. We have to say predicted for. So there's a nice little drinking game for you. Every time I screw up and say over, under, or set, give yourself a nice little shot of Jack for me. Very easy. So we're going to go check out some of the better props for the weekend that I like. I'm going to take 3 games from this weekend, one from the morning, one from the afternoon, and obviously Sunday night. Sunday night's a stinker. Although the odds of us doing a show in Jacksonville play Washington again, probably not high, and I really hope I don't have to talk about that either. So if that's the case, if it's a stinker on Sunday night, I'll just pull out another one on the Sunday afternoon and go from there. But we're going to look at 3 different games that we have going on. Again, thank you for joining me. Nice and easy. We're going to kick off very well. Oh, look, there's Jeff. What's up, Jeff? And then there's Yeti. Okay. Oh, I even got a comment from Restream. Social comments display here. Thanks, mate. Yeah, great. Well done. Very easy. What's up, Jeff? Yeti, how you going? Nice and easy. Thanks for joining me. And we're going to have some fun. Again, game picks, there's a lot of them that are there that we could have lent towards. There's some really interesting games this weekend for week 1. Obviously, none more interesting that happened last night. Commiserations to those who took the over on Cam Akers, Allen Robinson, and Dawson Knox. Oof. Brutal. Not good. But it is what it is. Week 1, Matt Stafford wasn't playing. We didn't really hear much about Cam Akers in the offseason. That should have been the first warning sign we all really had, and hit the unders on that anyway. And most people want to bet on human performance and go, oh, yeah, we can achieve anything. No, the human decline is right in front of us. We absolutely suck as human beings, so we should always bet the under, right? That's what we really are about. Never mind me. Speaking of suck, Philadelphia, Detroit. First game of the week, round 1, morning games. Sorry for those who happen to be Philadelphia or Detroit fans. I mean, I'm just guessing you were born into it. I don't think that should really be a choice. You should really look elsewhere. Doesn't really matter. We could look at this game and say something like Philadelphia against Detroit. Everyone's got their hype about the Hard Knocks. Amon-Ra St. Brown had an incredible end of the season, didn't he? Yeah. DJ Chark's coming back. Everyone's kind of getting on the Dan Campbell vibe. Yeah, they're going to bite kneecaps still. Going to get amongst that. Eagles are currently -4 on the road, which is kind of interesting. I feel like they should open up as bigger favourites. For me, and I'll give Philly as much grief or more than the next person. But the reality is they should be the NFC favourites when you look at what they've done to that defense. They've added AJ Brown. O-line's still pretty magnificent there as well. Just if their quarterback was actually decent, you could throw and set his feet, they might be something. But that's beside the point. We're looking at -4 on the road for the Eagles, over-under 48.5. So obviously that's a nice place to start when we're looking at our over-unders, see what Vegas thinks the game's going to be. If there's opportunity for offensive players to score lots of points, we can tend to lean on that and go, okay, well, maybe this could maybe happen, maybe that can maybe happen. If it's a low-scoring game, you've got running backs slated for like 40 yards each, you're like, maybe not. Either way, I'm going to give you 3 base picks that I'm looking at. And again, these are the 3 games that I'm looking at. If you want some more, please, again, head over to the Discord, going for 2, hashtag Discord Dan. And you can tag me in any questions over there and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And again, promo code GF2 Underdog. Get after it. Look, the 3 picks that I'm going with, we've got Jared Goff. He's going to be forced to play from behind, I'm guessing, if we're looking at game script. At home, new weapons, 240, 2.5. Normally I say, this has the makings to be of a high, but I'm going to go lower on Jared Goff, 240, 2.5. I'm not sold on this. He really needs DeAndre Swift to bail him out to even get there. There's no Jameson Williams. DJ Chark's been missing for pretty much a year. Who knows what TJ Hawkinson is anymore? You're really basically banking on Amon-Ra St. Brown going bonkers. So I'm going lower on 240, 2.5 on Jared Goff. I really think that's very generous for a guy like him, and you're basically hoping that he goes berserk, gets that garbage time and whatnot. Look, the Philly secondary at this point, you grab James Bradbury for nothing. You trade away Pickles for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They have absolutely stood out. You grab Kaiser White as well. Jordan Davis out of the draft. They really are lined up to have a massive year. So for me, I feel like they're favourites for the NFC, and not just for this game at -4. They're going to suffocate Detroit. And 240, 2.5, you're really hoping that Jared Goff in the last quarter just starts to go berserk. I don't think they're going to let him off the reins that much. And I don't think they're really that, okay, it's a nice story. Yeah, Dan Campbell. Yeah, win. Yeah, rah. But no, I really don't think, I really don't think they're that great. I just don't. I don't think that they're going to be there. Discord Dan. Yes, Jeff gets it. Welcome. Thanks. Yeah. Hi, Gladys. What's going on? She knows how I love talking about Jared Goff, her favorite player in the league. Should I play the drums? I don't know whose drums they are, Jamie. I've never seen them before. I don't even know how they got there. They're new to me. So, I'll have questions in the morning, I'm sure. It is what it is. Either way, that's another topic for another day. Pick number 2 for the morning game. Look, if I'm going to align myself with Jared Goff going lower, can't say under. I think I'd have to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown under 60.5 receiving yards as well. Look, Avonte Maddox is in there too. You're throwing Gardner-Johnson, those nickelback guys. They remind me of something absolutely different. They've got something going on for them. I really think that's going to be a tough matchup for Detroit, no matter what. I think a lot of people are a little bit more aware of what Detroit's going to do. St. Brown really stood out, unless we really think it's going to be something more than what we need it to be. I really don't think St. Brown's going to have a massive game against Philly week 1. I'm not really going to go looking for that. I do, however, and I half mentioned it before, I think the third base pick, I think, for the first morning game from the Detroit-Philly game, I do like the dink and dunk opportunities for DeAndre Swift. I really do. I really think he's going to have a massive game. Not so much on the ground, to be honest. Last year he kind of struggled in that spectrum, but in the air, only 3 games with less than 5 targets. Weeks 1 to 8, averaged 51 receiving yards a game. That's kind of bananas for him. This week he's been charged with 31.5 through the air receiving yards, in which I say he is going over. He is easily going over 31.5 receiving yards. The guy averages 51 in the first 8 weeks of the year, and we just turn our nose up at that. I don't think so. And as much as I like Philly in that regard, I think Swift's kind of elusive enough to kind of get away with it, what it may be. What I'll also do is, because I'm a generous guy, I think you guys know that already. You've been reading my work for 2 or 3 years, spending countless hours on one article. And I think I will give you a couple more because I like to win bag on. And I've just bought myself 10 minutes. We've got 20 to go. No worries, no pressure. Alternate morning game picks. Look, I think anyone that thinks Mac Jones can get over 200 over shots, off you go, 230 and a half passing yards is having a laugh against Miami. I really do, because anyone that had to watch the abomination of Joe Judge last year knows that he couldn't pass his way out of a target bag that was wet. It's just not going to happen, which is incredible because those target bags are now like what? Linen? Really hard to get out of them. If it's linen, it's not really not going to work. But 230 and a half passing yards for Mac Jones. He's going lower and under. What? Devontae Parker's going to do it? Thornton's out injured? Hunter Henry's going to go further than 30 yards without like grabbing for breath? It's just not going to happen. I like Mac Jones. I really think he's a good little player. I think he's going to be quite handy. I just think the people that they've got around him are garbage and he's just going nowhere. I had to watch a year of Daniel Jones last year. And I'm not saying that they're the same player, but they could very well turn him into that. And that's just terrifying when you think about it. The other morning game pick that I like, I quite like a few of them. And in the same game, I'll talk about it. No, I won't. No, you can hashtag Discord, Dan, if you want more on Washington, Jacksonville. But Terry McLaurin to go higher than 60 and a half receiving yards, I think that's a lot. Carson Wentz kind of gets a bit of a bad rap. I feel like he had a pretty good year with Michael Pittman, at least the first 8, 9, 10 weeks of the year until they started to lean on Jonathan Taylor. So Terry McLaurin over 60 and a half receiving yards seems to be a bit of a lock to me. I feel like that's an easy one. What Curtis Samuel's going to take work from him? Logan Thomas? Don't think so. The afternoon games are interesting. There's a few bangers on in the afternoon, I'd like to say. Yes, under Gladys. Yes, under. Absolutely. Absolutely. She knows. But she's been talking to Izzy for the past 2.5 years. He's been telling her to go under for years. Tiafo. Don't know what that is. Jacoby Myers. He's going to go what? 9 targets, 7 receptions, 55 yards, no touchdowns. It's a lock. Yeah, Myers could be. He could end up that. Yeah, he's good. Gator, what's going on? It's going to be a good Friday night. Let's crack on into the afternoon game that I've picked. I think the easy one, actually, to be honest, when I kind of started working on these games, it would have been kind of easy to go Arizona and Kansas, but they're dropping like flies out there in Arizona. It's kind of hard to believe that actually little juiced up little guy like Rondale Moore tore a hamstring. I'm kind of not surprised, but to be honest with you, obviously Zach Ertz is, question mark. I'm not sure if he's been ruled out. Doc will tell us on Monday, although we'll know by Sunday, so that doesn't really matter, does it? So Vegas, I thought Arizona was going to Kansas and Arizona was going to be an interesting one, but I'm actually going to lean on Vegas and the Chargers. I think there's more unknowns again against both teams, with Kansas, obviously with Juju there and Scantling and Sky Moore maybe and all that sort of stuff. I kind of wanted to stay away from it, go with a bit more of the known. In regards to the Chargers and the Raiders, I didn't think there was too much changes. Obviously, Devontae Adams is a big deal, but on the Chargers side of the ball, there isn't really a lot of changes there. And, we could say that Adams is going to impact Hunter Renfrow a lot, but I feel like they can both coexist. I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal in that regard. At the moment, Chargers -3.5 at home, over under 42. I can say that because it's not pertaining to underdog, it's pertaining to Vegas. So I'm going to say over and under for the line there. So it's over and under 52.5 at the moment, which at the point of time was about a point lower than Kansas, Arizona. But with Moore being out and not really much going on there, I really don't see that going over 52.5. Unless Kansas put up 48.5. Either way. So we're going to crack on to this one. I'm looking at the Vegas team, Las Vegas Raiders chasing this game. That's kind of how I want to imagine it. If you can bear with me, open up your minds, go on a trip with Aaron Rodgers, do what you need to do to get there. Doesn't really matter. I like this Vegas team. Jacobs, I get it from a fantasy standpoint. He's kind of bland, But, this Chargers defense is pretty loaded. But, Adams, Waller, Renfro, I think Mac Hollins is kind of an underrated addition as well. He looked all right in Philly. He looked all right in Miami when he got a chance. He was a decent red zone target at times. Foster Moreau's always a decent player when he gets the opportunity when Waller is out. So you can go on it with that. I kind of like the idea of Derek Carr going higher, not over, higher than 267.5. The scary thing about this is during the week, he started off at 282.5. So please, you got to remember, you got to get onto these props a little bit earlier in the week. Obviously, there's a big difference between 15 yards for Carr and whatnot. That's a big deal. I like him getting there with Adams and Waller. Waller could go for 100 himself. There's not a lot of people that can stop Darren Waller on his best day. Then you're throwing in Devontae Adams. Jacobs is good for a few receptions. Yeah, 50 receptions a year, give or take. He's good for it. Then you're throwing out the rookie out there too, Amir Abdullah. He's got enough around him to get to 267.5, I think. And if the Chargers get off to a fast start at home, I really think he can chase that. So I kind of like him going over 265.5. I do, though, however, I really love Hannah Renfrow this week going over 49.5. Now, you'd think that might be a problem. Like, it was a problem last year when he had no help. Ruggs went, no, not touching that. Ruggs went where he went. He didn't really have any help outside of it. Waller was kind of not there. So I get that the yards were kind of inflated because he had nothing else around him. So him getting to 80 yards, 90 yards wasn't really that big of a deal. But, you know, at 49.5 for a guy that's probably going to be left alone, half the attention's not going to Adams, it's going to Waller, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. He can be left alone. He can have a really big day at this point. So Hunter Renfrow, I like 49.5. He's going higher, less attention, more space to work inside. I love it. I am, though, going to throw out a bit of a curveball here. And you know how I feel about curveballs. They're great. We're going to go with Keenan Allen under. Now, Keenan Allen in a high-scoring game going under, that should be rhetoric. We should never say that out aloud because we love Keenan Allen. We're a Keenan Allen household here. I play the drums. I dedicate the drum songs to him. It's just, you know, I don't even know how to play them. They're not even mine. I still don't know how they got there. Under. Oh, shot. You said under. We're going lower. Keenan Allen's going lower than 69.5 yards. Now, the scary thing about this is that when the lines previously opened up for him, I think it was on Monday, I'll give or take, 79.5 yards he was given. That's dropped 10 yards. Now, you might think that's a little crazy, but he's only done that 3 times against them in the last 8 matchups, even less previously. So I'm just going to take the last 3-4 year sample. He's only done it 3 times. Last time he did it was about 2 years ago. He's really struggled to put up more than 60 yards against them anyway in that time. So kind of crazy. So week 8, 2020 was the last time we did that. Career average against Vegas is only 74. And this is a different Vegas team. Oakland. Doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Doesn't really matter. Same Vegas, Oakland team. Don't really matter. It's a very different team to what he probably faced at the start of his career, which were kind of hapless. So to think that he struggled the last 3-4 years against them to put up big numbers, and yet his career averages bring him up. I feel like it's a bit of fool's gold. I love Keenan Allen, but if I'm going to risk one, I'm going to throw that on Keenan Allen this week. And to be fair, I should have mentioned this at the start. Underdog is a pretty cool tool now where you get to take insurance. So you throw like a bet on, you throw insurance, you lose a percentage of your winnings. But this would be the game to do it, and that would probably be the play to look at for it. I'd look at that and go, I think I can get away with Keenan Allen going under. If not, hit the insurance. You throw 5 picks on, I think you make like 40% less, give or take, which isn't great. But hey, them's the breaks, right? This can kind of happen. If I am against, though, Keenan Allen this week, I do love the fantasy football darling, Austin Ekeler, Yahoo's favorite. Austin Ekeler this week, I actually love him heading against Vegas, regardless of which way the game's going. If they're in control, if they're chasing, I actually love him this week. The running back carousel kind of has me a little concerned, but what short yardage to Sony Michel? Like, is that the worst? Like, is that the worst thing that happens? Is that what we're giving up? Is that what's making us hesitate on getting on Austin Ekeler props this week? I don't think so. So, whether it's Michelle or, Josh Kelly, that doesn't really, Larry Roundtree, are we bothered about that? Oh, he's in a format. No, he's not. He's Austin Ekeler. You're going to bank on him getting 12, 13 touches max and maybe 5, 6 targets. There you go. There's your yards for the day. So the optics don't look good in that regard in terms of who's around him. But to be fair, he's averaged 90 yards a game against the Raiders. So that's rushing, which you really kind of wouldn't really associate with Austin Ekeler because he doesn't get like mass volume like, the bigger guys in the league. That's to say he's not big. He's a solid unit, but 90 yards rushing that was against the Raiders last year, which is kind of incredible. And if his target's 100.5 yards combined For Austin Eckler this week, 100.5 yards combined, rushing, receiving. He's already averaging 90 a game against them. I'll take the higher, not the over, the higher. Thank you, underdog, for keeping me in check. Again, 80 rush yards in the last 3 games, 38 receiving. He's going to net 118. So he's already gone about 17, 18 yards over on the average in the last 3, let alone 90 yards average in the last 2. I kind of like where he's going in that regard. So, I feel pretty good about that. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Oh my God, Hollywood going for 20. Is he still? Oh yeah, sure. 20 receptions if he could catch it. God knows he did Lamar Jackson no favors last year. How about AJ Green for 10 targets? I love it, Jamie. I'm a big AJ Green guy this year. I think he best ball on underdog. Promo code GF2. Get amongst it. Oh, there we go. Promo code number 3, Jeff. That's how you do it. I think he's my highest rostered wide receiver, I think, at underdog. I must have been taking around 17, 18 every time I could. DeAndre Hopkins, 6-game suspension. Zach Ertz, always hurt or banged up. Rondale Moore, he could be anything. Marquise Brown, I get it, but AJ Green is kind of a big deal, I think. I think he's a bigger deal than what people want to. He's an AARP member. Well, not yet. No, well, he's all right. Damn it, man, get it together. Well, LA, Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders, yes, I don't know what to call them. Where's Jeff Lambert? Yeah, that's a good question. Austin Eckler is more effective with less volume. I mean, sure, if that's what you want to think. I mean, again, like if you're banking on him having like this incredible workload, like a Barkley might, or like a Najee Harris might, I think that might be a little delusional. But for me, I have Austin Eckler across a handful of teams, all that sort of stuff. If he got the 13, 14, rush attempts, I think that's a big day for him. I'm not really banking on it. I really want those targets to go up. But, I get a lot of comfort knowing that, the 80 to 90 yards rushing on average against Vegas, last 2-3 games, I feel pretty good about that anyway. So either way, speaking about afternoon game picks, I've got a couple here because, I'm a Giants homer. No, I'm not. I don't even like the Giants. I'm a Giants fan because I live here. And it was either them or the Jets. And, geez, could you imagine being a Jets fan? Imagine having to wake up and think, I'm going to wear green today. That's just, it's like Philly. I've always said, I think Philly fans are just Jets fans that got lost. I keep maintaining that. It is what it is. They got lost. They were trying to find their way home. They didn't. They just, screw it. We'll just be Jets fans. That's what it is. Alternate afternoon game picks. Look, I kind of think you want to look at a dumpster fire. Look at the Giants-Titans game. Ryan Tannehill under. Said it again, under. We're going lower. You guys need to do a shot. Enjoy. Lower than 230.5 passing. That's what Robert Woods is going to go for $130. That's going to happen. Ryan Tannehill. He's going to start launching it to Austin Hooper. Yeah, right. And look, that's scary because that's down from they gave him a 245 head start before. That's kind of mental when you think about it. Ryan Tannehill, 245. Giants are bad, but they're not that bad. They're pretty bad, but I'm just saying 245 or 230 to Ryan Tannehill with a banged up Robert Woods, a guy that can't catch his breath, and 2 other guys, I can't even say their names, let alone Austin Hooper. I don't even think I want to go over that. But I do like Saquon Barkley over 89.5 combined yards. I feel like that's going to – the Giants line has improved. I like what they've done. Feliciano, they've added Neil. Thomas has come on leaps and bounds. They actually have a center that isn't a right tackle that broke his leg. That's kind of interesting. Sorry, Nick Gates, but, go away. No more liability in Will Hernandez. So I kind of like what they've done. So Barkley, if they can kind of get a bit of a roll on early, 89.5 combined yards, I feel like that's a bit of a lock. And Marquise, I did mention Marquise Brown. Look at that. How about them apples? Marquise Brown over 69.5 receiving yards against Kansas. Kind of like that. Look, the scary thing is he's a good chance to get volume. Say he gets 8 targets a game. That's all well and good. A lot of those could go for 60 yards anyway, the way he plays. So, I kind of like Marquise Brown this week. How about that? I even wrote that down, and I neglected to think I wrote that down, and we ended up getting on it anyway. Look at that. It's full circle. That's poetic. Who knew? Beautiful. Either way, Tom Brady, yep. Ready for retirement? I don't know. I do have to talk about Tom Brady in a minute, and I'm all out on wide receivers in that Giants-Titans game, except for Tony. I tend to believe that, but I feel like Wan'Dale Robinson's their guy. I think on DraftKings, I know these guys will probably talk about it. I think he's like $3,000. So he's like, I mean, I know if you had the choice between $3,000, Wan'Dale Robinson or Romeo Doubs, I think that's an easy one. But I think Robinson, they're going to try and get creative with him, which is weird to say because, Giants and creative last year was kneeling on your own 10-yard line in the third quarter, and we don't really want to talk about that. Thanks, Joe Judge, you bitter old twat. Picks of the night, we're going to go to the last game. I was going to say old because I saw Tom Brady's name, but it doesn't matter. We're going to go to the last game of the night. Oh, we're nearly at that 30-minute mark. Oh, my God, we're cruising. This is easier, Jeff. What are you talking about? Oh, I'll even milk it a bit more. Again, one more time. Discord going for 2. Underdog, promo, GF2, because this is what we're doing, right? Underdog, picks, higher, lower, all that sort of fun stuff. Get amongst it, 100% matching deposit up to $100. Yeah, promo code REACH, Jeff. That's how you do it with some passion, mate. And I know you're on next and you're going to try and outdo me, but my God, put some bass in your voice when you do it or something. Base picks 3 here. Base 3 picks. We're going to look at that Tampa-Dallas game. I'm absolutely terrified for both of these teams. I have absolutely no idea what they're thinking because no one's talking about Tolbert. They're talking about Simi Fehoko, Noah Brown, all those sorts of guys. Dallas line is absolutely shot. Absolutely shot. And if their line is bad, then Tampa's could quite well be worse after what they've dealt with this year. Kappa leaves. The other lad retired, right? I forget what his name is. Ali Marpet. There we go. They've had 2 guys that replaced. One guy did his knee next week, did his knee. Oh, geez. Their defense might not be the same. I know they tried to replace Sue with Akeem Hicks. I don't think it's the same. Joe Tryon, Shashinka. Doesn't really matter. He's pretty good. I hope he takes on more steps and leaps of bounds. He looks like a good deal. Obviously, losing Whitehead's a big deal, but, they're playing Dallas, who have 1 receiver. So, whatever. This game somehow, I thought about doing Seattle. I thought, but I couldn't bring myself around to a Geno Smith game. I couldn't. I've done that before. It was the Monday night game. It was with Kyle and the Doc and Gladys, and it was like, I feel like it was Mason Rudolph versus Geno Smith. It was like Pittsburgh versus Seattle. It was an absolute stinker. What are we doing here? And you got to watch that. Oh, Seattle fans. Like, I have to watch Joe Judge, but Geno Smith or Drew Lock, why just go get Tyler Huntley from Baltimore or something? Go pay up for him. He's got to be Gardner Minshew. Go get Gardner Minshew, bring him back to Washington State. Go do it. Bring him back. Can't be worse than this garbage, Geno Smith. My God, just Howie. Anyway, getting distracted. Tampa -1.5 favorite on the road, I guess. 51.5. It's the highest of the last remaining primetime games. We're going to go with that. Primetime games. I should talk about that because Jeff put me in primetime, didn't you, buddy? There we go. Look, again, the tricky thing here is to be disciplined because there is only 5 options available. So it'd be very easy to have a crack at them all. So they say, yeah, over, under. Oh, there you go. 3 shots in a row, higher, lower, whatever it might be. It doesn't really matter. And again, I think that Dallas might be in a bit of trouble because they what are you going to do? Run Zeke Elliott 30 times? And then I don't think you can do that against Tampa. I think they've got too many players on hand to kind of get away with it. I do like Zeke, though, this week, funnily enough, hitting higher than 69.5 combined yards. I feel like that's a bit of a gimme. Look, he's good for like 16, 18, 19 touches. They're going to do it. They're going to force their way through on the ground with him. He might get 4 or 5 receptions. They might get him into the flat. He might go for 1, 10, 15 yards, and that's all you need to get you over the line there because, he can grind out 3, 4 yards of carry as it is. So you should feel pretty good about that. No Gallup, question marks everywhere else. No Sue, no JPP. He might get away with it, but that line for Dallas, it's got, Jason Peters, how good can he be, straight off the bat, knowing what they need. I feel like this is one of those games where there's going to be false starts everywhere. I'm looking forward to this game very, very much. I can say that I still have zero confidence in Dak this week again, hitting 273.5. We saw what a bad O-line can do to you. Matt Stafford is a walking, we saw what happened to him last night. One decent receiver. Sorry, Allen Robinson, I love you, but and it wasn't your fault. I will maintain that, not your fault. But you're talking about having CeeDee Lamb who's going to have everyone all over him. And what? 273 is going to happen. Jarwin, he missed a lot of the preseason because he didn't sign his contract. Pollard's going to pop for 50, 60 yards to help him get there. I really don't see this. I don't see Dak getting a 275, 73 and a half. That's also down from 280 and a half. So you can obviously see that Vegas has gone, well, they don't think it's possible at 280 and a half. Let's drop it by 70% and see if we can get there. Nah, let's not even do that. So I don't have faith in Dak getting to that. So I'm going higher on Zeke combined yards, 69 and a half, lower on Dak, 273 and a half. So we're going lower on that. And I actually had trouble with this last one. I really did. It doesn't mean I feel great about Tampa. I've said that before. Brady, he's missed everything. And I know he's the most prepared man in the world. Like, literally, I feel like this guy could go down to Texas, hop on a spaceship, fly up and back because he already knows. That's the sort of dude that he is. He's that prepared. He's a bit of an animal, but no one really wants to throw a statue in at Pamplona, right? Because that statue is going to break, and you're going to throw a line like that in front of him, and he's in all sorts of the balls are going to hit him. Micah Parsons, they're ready for him, and you know what they're like, primetime Dallas. They're just going to want to chew him up. So I know he gets the ball rid of the ball pretty quick, but I really don't feel like that's great for him. So I'm not going to really touch on Brady in that regard. We go on Leonard Fournette, and this is an odd one for him because no one likes Fournette. And every year, I was listening to the show Monday night, Ryan said it very poignantly. Every year we hate on Leonard Fournette, and he ends up a top 5 running back. This happens with Leonard Fournette every freaking year. So I feel like those dump-offs might be there. If he hasn't got the rapport with Russell Gage, he's been missing time with hamstrings. Who knows with Julio? He's one bad step away from a hamstring. Mike Evans, he's a question mark. No Gronk. What? Kyle Rudolph's going to get down the field. Actually, while we're at it, go lower on Brady. We're going to go lower on Brady. But I'm looking at this, Rashad White, Najee Bernard. Maybe we're looking at dump-offs. Leonard Fournette. I kind of feel like he's going under as well. I think this is going to be a real bad game. Great way to end the show, Dan. Yeah, this one's going to be a stinker, and I don't want to pay attention because I really don't. I'd rather talk about a game that I don't want to go over than Seattle right now. DK Metcalf, under. I'll do it for you. There you go. Tyler Lockett, under. Running backs, under. Just pick the unders on these guys. It's just not going to happen for them. Friggin' professional you are. I am. You know how this is. Thank you, Gladys. I'm gonna put that up so people can see that my co-host believes that I am a professional. Thank you, Gladys. I'm out on Zeke against that run defense. Torrance Smith out. Yeah, I mean, again, 69 and a half combined. Like, I know we're going to think that they might have to use Pollard more as a receiver. And, who knows how that's going to go. I kind of 69 and a half combined. If it was 69 flat rushing, I'd probably lean away. But combined, I feel like he's good enough to get away with that. Yeah, they had Zeke under 40 last year. Yeah, it's a different Bucs team, isn't it? Maybe. Who knows? They kind of fell apart towards the end. They've been falling apart all offseason, Jamie. So I don't really know if that's going to go any further than that. But Giants get smacked this week. I'm going to leave the show with that up there. Thank you, Facebook user. They are. Yeah, they probably will. I mean, the disrespect that the Titans get this year. Anyway, what the best team in the AFC last year, and I don't know. It feels like I don't know. I just don't buy it. I think their window was last year, and then Henry getting hurt kind of killed it. And you're going to sell AJ Brown and replace him with old Weezy. It's just not going to happen. So it is what it is. No, they didn't add anything. No, they didn't help. They didn't really help anything. But the Bucs, they'll get away with it somehow. I still think the Bucs will win. I think Dallas are in a bit of trouble this year, personally, myself. But that's beside the point. This isn't over. I mean, you want to get on something, get on Philly to win the NFC. I think that's the way to go. But it is what it is. Yeah, I said it. I don't care. Money's to be made. Philly to win the NFC. Go check it out. What are the Rams going to do it? You saw what that was, and I just feel like Tampa Dallas is going to be a lot like last night's game. I'm just absolutely terrified of what's going to happen. Either way, doesn't really matter, does it? I'm going to wrap this up because I got the 30 minutes. Thank you, Jeff. Bonus is coming. Bingo, 34. Just going to keep those seconds wrap and roll. That's fantastic. Again, one more time, I really think you guys should stick around. There's an even better show. I mean, I can't say it's a worse show. I don't know how this is. Doesn't really matter. There's a really good show coming up after this. You got Gerson, Tim, and Jeff. They're going to punch out all the DFS work that you need. It's fantastic. You need to listen to it. These guys are incredible. They're going to help you with everything, cash games, GPPs, all that sort of stuff. These guys are incredible. Cheap alternatives, chalk plays, you got to know all that sort of stuff. Tournament plays, they'll help you out with all that. It's coming a little bit later tonight. As always, our Sunday show, fantastic for starts and sits. Get amongst it. Gladys is hosting that bad boy again. Got to get amongst it. Those guys know what they're doing. They're going to help you set your lineups, win yourself some championships. Discord, come join us. Going for two. Get over there. Hashtag Discord Dan, because that's where are you, Jeff? I'm going to put that up one more time. Get out of the Giants getting smacked this week. Let's end up on a high note. There we go. Discord Dan. LOL. Thanks, Jeff, our fearless leader. No worries with that. So head over to Discord, hashtag Discord Dan. Ask me anything you want about prop bets going into the week. You can also check us out. Use this link, YouTube, all that sort of fun stuff, Twitch. Go find us, subscribe, hit the alert button, know where you are. And again, one more time, hit that underdog promo code, GF2underdog.com. Have some fun, throw some cash down, 100% matching deposits, up to $100. Look at that, no thrills. I don't even, I know I got drums in the background, but there's no music. Jeff didn't even give me music. No music, no intro, just, Dan, it's going to count 3, 2, 1 in your live. Thanks, Jeff. Awesome. How good are you? You didn't even tell me how to end the stream. I'm just going to end the stream really spontaneously, like mid-sentence or something, so no one really knows. No, I won't do that. Have a great week. Happy betting. Happy punting. Get amongst it. Get on your bets. Have some fun. Enjoy yourselves. Take care, and bye-bye.